Hi, it's Dr. Ray here, and I want to discuss what it really means to be gender fluid. And you don't have to believe this as a universal truth. This is based in Chinese medicine, Taoism, ancient teachings. Isn't it funny how people sometimes front load uh, videos, things they write with just past learnings, maybe to give credit to what they're about to teach, but where I'm coming from is actually experiencing it in my own life and with discovering what it means to be, say, androgynous. So when I was younger, uh, things are a lot different. And that is where a lot of men who were, say, more feminine, whether that was how they moved their body, to how they dressed, to their tone of voice, to if they appeared more feminine, um, they would hide it. They would maybe get their ass kicked uh, for displaying that. People would call them names um, and so forth. And so to be, it's like Freddie Mercury, uh, flamboyant, or whatever you want to call it, you're typically, say, like a musician or artist, and maybe it was more socially accepted or something like that. Really strange. Um, but what's often a misunderstanding of being gender fluid is an identity to either the old masculine or the old feminine. And what I mean by that is it's an identity to a man and maybe a beard, like if it's the masculine, where he works, he's a provider, he's a protector, he speaks with a deeper voice like this, he has more rigid movement like that. Uh, even his maybe his purpose is about work, family, dedication, which is still attractive to a lot of women, and maybe some women don't find it to be attractive. And then the feminine, like the old school feminine, might be the 1950s housewife. Thank you, honey. Just as long as you're happy. Kind of kissing ass, giving up their careers because they got to take care of the family, to just laughing at his jokes, even though he's not very funny. All those things, not having equal rights or equal pay, and so forth. Uh, so you might, think of that model, and then you might think that uh, if you are to be androgynous, that means that it's a sexual thing, where you are bisexual and so forth. And true androgyny um, is more of an inner and outer type of beingness. And what I mean by that, uh, like saying this now moment, a typical man, like a typical old school man, actually wouldn't have, they would have been done talking by now, right? They're just very laconic, just a few words here and there, versus a man. And again, these are generalizations. Might be very talkative, very animated, blah, 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 just like that. And I'm not judging this. I'm just saying, like, we we can see different characteristics that come through different men and different women. Well, being gender fluid and, say, androgynous, it's not necessarily connected to like who we want to sleep with, who we would want to spend our time with or be intimate with. It's more of a flow of yin and yang, masculine and feminine, such as a balanced man or woman when it comes to emotions would be this. They feel, which is more the feminine, they can take that in. And then when they look at it as sadness or anger, they label it, or that they are able to identify what they want to do next, that's moving in the masculine. Does that make sense? So it's like the feelings are in, and then the outer, like what we do with it, is more the masculine. Um, a more gender fluid way of where a person might even dance would be where they're not just like all over the place in a feminine, and nor are they rigid like a soldier. It's where that they have body awareness and they can dance, but they can also be dedicated to sports and follow some structure and some, like, maybe some type of pattern or tempo or some type of structure and so forth. So imagine the free form and whatever you do kind of be more of the feminine, and then and we're talking about the body being gender fluid, and then the extreme masculine be rigid. What would that look like to be able to do the tango? Because the tango is both. It's kind of like it's intense, but there is structure to it. There's a flow to it, and it's really beautiful. Another way to look at this would be this: imagine at an intersection where it was just totally feminine. There would be no traffic lights, and so there'd be cars. And you've seen this in like underdeveloped countries where there's no traffic lights, and it's crazy. It's like cars going fast, and they're trying to navigate through all of that. Well, let's just say the extreme or the opposite of that in the masculine would be where you have to drive specifically a straight line and you have to follow the rules, which, that keeps people safe and so forth. But if you remove that, like remove the masculine, what you're going to have at the intersection is chaos, where there's maybe no directions. It's just too much. So when you combine the two, with the masculine and feminine same direction, you have some structure. There's also maybe some flexibility of being different. It's kind of like this. It's like the extreme masculine might like just black and white shoes. The feminine person might like pink, red, purple, green, but it's based on like, even if it's the same pair of shoes as the white and black shoes, it's that wearing those colors gives them a different feeling, like a different experience, right? So it's like looking at the masculine being very rigid in structure and then seeing the feminine being more fluid and open and flexible. Whereas the masculine, you might see them wear a suit and tie and almost like a soldier. Then an extremely feminine person, whether it's a man or woman, they might wear a dress or be really colorful and so forth. There's an old movie that came out, I think, was it in the 90s, Pleasantville, where I think these people time travel and they go back to like the 1950s world, and it's black and white, and that's it, very rigid. And then I think it's Reese Witherspoon, she's in the movie. And then the people from the future are, they're more cultured, they're more colorful, and they start influencing the black or white Pleasantville, and things start changing colors. Like this woman gets red lips, and that's supposed to be kind of like heresy. Oh my God, like let's not allow that, in our small town. That's dangerous. And it's really a great movie to see how it maybe was like then. And it was a very rigid patriarchy, whatever you want to label it. And so being gender fluid or androgynous, truly embodied in the tradition of Taoism or Chinese medicine, is energy. It's energy. It's the way things move. It's the way life works with quantum particles. It's life itself. We need both the yin and yang, the father and the mother, to create that spark of energy to create life. And so when it's out of balance, completely like masculine, you see destruction. You see things get destroyed. You see outdated systems start to break apart because it's not sustainable anymore. It's very rigid in its thought. It's not open to new things. It's not curious. Whereas with the extreme feminine, it would be where let's just try everything new. Let's not test it. To it's all about the new thing. To it's all about let's do this even out of reaction. There's no boundaries or container. Now, what would that look like combined together? Such as we do need a new society. We do need new change. But using the example of like the intersection, when you immediately break apart old systems, what you often get is chaos. You get disorganization. Things become worse. So rather than removing all the traffic lights and allowing people to just crash because there's no guidance, there's got to be a balance of how we want to do it next. And so you see this across the board with our systems, where it's with not only younger generation who are saying, I don't want to be like these older people. Like, their relationship didn't work. Why would I want to do that or be like that? to like, do I really want to go to college? I can't even, it's not going to even get me a job. I don't want to have to pay a student loan off the rest of my life. To, you're looking at things, you're looking at options, and there's got to be some type of balance, right? We're moving out of the old paradigm. So, between the outdated systems out there that are no longer working, maybe they never were, to the new things that are coming up, there's got to be a blend of both masculine and feminine. We just can't strip away both or go from extremes. Otherwise, what we're going to have is just more divisiveness, arguments, and less progress in our society. Hi, it's Dr. Ray here, and thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate your support, and you are the one who drives this channel. So if you like to be notified when new videos come out, please subscribe to my channel and push the bell button so you are notified when new videos come out. I appreciate you supporting this channel.